shooters, loaders, and casters. Happy birthday, America. Thank all y'all for being here. Thank all you guys on the panel, all you guys in the side chat. Gene, how was your week, my brother?
Oh, well, my week was fabulous, man. I went on a little trek, got to see JH586 with a surprised look on his face. Never seen that one before. First time for everything, though. So I had a great week. I got to spend some time at a family reunion. That's what I call it. Family reunion. Had the pleasure of spending some time with JH586. This guy over here. CW Longshot. Tread. Christian Grest. Oh, man. Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob was cool. Too cool. Miss Hotshot Christine was there with us. I just had a great time, man. It was wonderful. Oh, and yeah, the guy below me, Rebel. Got to actually meet Mr. Rebel there. See the gun shop. Do a lot of good shooting at the range. Got to shoot a 500 Smith & Wesson this week for the first time. I will not decline to ever shoot one again. Someone wants to pull one out, I'd be more than happy to pull the trigger on it. Because that was just, oof, what a blast. Literally. I got 1 day of work in this week. And other than that, I'm spending a good 4th of July, 250th anniversary of America with the best bunch of people I could think to be with. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. CW, how was your week?
Well, mine started out much the same. Much the same. About a 14-hour drive down there to Hester's place, and put a smile on JH586's face, and a surprised look.
Oh, that was great.
We had a good time. We had a really good time. Got to meet a couple new people. Got to shake some hands with people I've known for a long time. And we shot pistols and rifles and had some good food. We had a really good time. Uneventful ride home.
What's wrong with this picture, CW?
Good Lord.
Howdy, everybody.
Hey, Hillbilly, how was your week, dude?
America, baby.
America.
That's all I can say. Oh, my goodness.
We're going to get into some stuff in a minute. The condition of America. And GZW's out there. Good to see you, brother. Go Dogs. Man, they're already populating. Anyway, let's continue going through the room. But before we do, American Hillbilly, this is America's 249th birthday. The 250th will be next year. So we're going to start celebrating now and party all year long.
Well, my bad. Us hillbillies can't spell anyhow. So
No, it's as when we get into the show, GZW pointed that out too. Hold on. There he is. It's 249. But
they still in the news 250, so that's what I want.
Tomato. Things could have happened a couple months earlier than it's written down.
Well, we're going to get in the timeline, and you're going to find out that it's not really that way. Anyway, so you can make up arguments for a wide range of years, which we'll get into shortly. Six, how was your week, my brother?
Oh, it was a pretty good week. I didn't get much fun as y'all got to do, but only worked 3.5 days this week, so that wasn't too bad. But been dealing with rain here. Man, the rain won't let up around this place. So,
well, I hate you had to work 3.5 days because I worked 0.
Yeah. If I could take some time off and go with y'all, I would have.
I wish. Thanks for being here, brother. Rebel, how was your week?
About the same, except I didn't have to travel, but I did have to host. So I was a nervous wreck. I was hoping y'all was having a good time. You seemed like you were. And
Oh yeah.
I apologize again for being under the weather. That couldn't be helped, but I muscled through it, and y'all listened to me cough and watched me gimp around there like Stumpy in one of John Wayne's movies, and I shot about like Stumpy too. But I had a good time. It was good seeing y'all. Like I say, I've known CW the longest of anybody on this channel personally, and over time you just recognized her voice and recognized her right, and then you say, "Well, I'll probably never get to meet that dude." So that was just cool, you know.
We fixed that, didn't we?
Yeah. You and that big Suburban. Rented that big Suburban. That's a nice vehicle, man.
It
He
was.
had to have that. He had to have that Suburban
Yeah.
to the gills.
That's it. Just think if Uncle Bob had really started buying stuff, you'd have to get a U-Haul.
Yep.
I've never seen anybody. I've never seen anybody turn a Suburban into a two-seater.
I tell you, I doubled the miles on that thing. I picked it up. It had just over 2,000 miles on it, and had almost 5 when
Dang.
I got home.
Bang.
Oh,
Very
wow.
cool. Dr. Zink, Andy, how was your week, buddy?
The week was pretty good. I want to thank everybody for having me on. I don't think I offer that much to the chat, but once in a while I do. I want to say hello to everybody on the side chat. Everybody have a great Independence Day. And I had put a video out on Monday, I guess it was. I went to the range last Sunday and did a video comparison. Well, I did a video. You didn't see the range stuff, but what I did was I can't tell you how many different loads it was. I didn't count them, but I got the Athlon Rangecraft, and I took 5 bullets from each load of many different bullets in different loads. Chrono took the average of the 5 and of each load, and then compared them to what I actually had in QuickBooks, which was interesting to say the least. Things weren't that far off, except for 2 powders. One was I used Winchester WSH and a lot of stuff. I made it work because of the price I got the powder for. And everywhere and everything you read anywhere says it's pretty close to green dot. It's about 200 feet per second off, comparing it to green dot. But the consistency of the rounds, average velocity and stuff was all good. And the other oddball was Blue Dot, which had a sealed can, and it was an old steel can. And then you compare that to HS6. But I think this Blue Dot's quite a few years before they compared it to HS6, because the numbers were fairly close. So on some bullets and other bullets, they were way off. So I couldn't figure that one out. But the most impressive load that I had was out of my Rossi, 357, 170 grain semi-watt cutter. That was 103 grains in zinc with 7.8 grains of unique. It's a 20-inch barrel. Anybody want to guess the velocity?
Got no idea.
2,276 feet per second was the average of 5
God
shots.
almighty.
Yeah,
Really?
113 grains of zinc. That was my hot load that I was playing with. Quick loads has it 1,900 feet per second. So that didn't work out right. So that was a questionable thing. And I have about another 30 of those loaded. I took one apart and weighed the powder. 7.79 grains is what I got on the weight of it. So I might have missed 2 or 3 specks still in the brass, but the weight was correct. The numbers, again, the average was 2276. The SD was 14.1. Extreme spread was 34. So the high was 2289 and the low was 2260, which was the first round. And that was after a break in the line. We go, make the line safe for 15 minutes. So that was a cold bore shot. Everything else was much higher. I couldn't believe it. I mean, in the bullet groups for me, it's a tested load. Everything I shot was a worked up load that worked the best in that range of powder. So as far as grouping goes, so I was quite happy with it. It's up there. It's about 14 minutes long, and it's just me talking and giving you the weights of the bullets and the calibers I was shooting with the average velocity of 5 rounds and base it against the quick loads data. It was not too bad. Like I said, only a couple of loads were questionable. They didn't line up, and I double checked everything on quick loads, make sure everything was correct for bullet weight and steam depth, all that stuff. So, but it was quite interesting to really see it against quick loads. That was the test, and I got some pretty good responses from it. Everybody was kind of impressed.
So can you put a link in the side chat to that video?
Okay, I guess I can do that.
If you don't have a wrench, let me know. We'll fix that too.
Oh no, I have a wrench, I'm sure. Let me just got to open up in a new window here and get to my YouTube side to get that.
Walks has a question for us, trying to stump us here, and we'll get to that in a minute. But we got to get through the panel first. Mr. Bama Dad,
Yes, sir.
how was your week, buddy?
It's good. It's good. Yard work and melting down some tire weights. Working on my old drill press. Other than that, that's about it.
Well, glad you're here, man.
Well, I'm glad you invited me. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for being here. Mr. Mark,
Hello.
how was your week, buddy?
Excellent. Been a fantastic week. Sorry I missed you guys last week. Was up there in northern Pennsylvania attending Moondog's charity airsoft event. And, we had a real good time. We didn't win this year, but we tied first place. That was okay. And, just been a whirlwind week down here. Seth started a different jiu-jitsu gym. So that's kept him a little bit busy on some of the evenings. And we got to do our Let Freedom Ring video today. And I don't know when the last time was we went to the range together. It's been quite a while. So we had a lot of fun shooting, took the 45s out, that Glock and that little commander size 1911. We did even more shooting off camera than we did on. Probably went through 150, almost 200 rounds that I quick loaded last night and this morning. But we had a blast. So thanks for having me. Glad I could be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Walter's got a question before we get into our topic. What's the difference between the Colt Cobra and a Colt Agent?
Surprise.
I was gonna say they're spelt different.
They are spelled different. You definitely right there. Pronounced different too.
Any snake gun costs more.
Does anybody know?
I haven't got a
Off the
clue.
top of my head.
I think the agent's more concealable.
The agent has a shorter grip by a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say Sylvester Stallone carried one in the movie Cobra, and then of course the agent that was Maxwell Smart had one of them.
Didn't he keep that in his shoe?
Yeah, along with the
Yeah. What was the telephone? His firearm.
Maxwell Smart was the childhood fantasy behind my gun room.
Yeah, I bet he was.
I just couldn't get all them doors in there,
Didn't Stallone carry a 1911 in Cobra?
I think so.
I think he did.
Yeah. Had a Cobra in the grip, didn't it?
Yeah, that what I recall.
Don't move.
So, Jamie, how was your week?
Shocking. Yeah.
Doing some electrical work?
Kinda. In case y'all don't know or hadn't figured it out quite yet, I didn't know Brian was coming. I didn't know CW was going to show up. I thought they I think the Cobra's grip frames moved back and it's a little bit bigger. Excuse me.
Bless you.
So they're both priced about the same.
Yeah, they're both alloy frame. They're both snub nose revolvers.
Yeah. So looking back on it now, I'm like, every week we talked about it, and CW would never say he was coming or what. And looking back at it, I'm like, man, I wished he was coming. Dang. And then we get up there, and I didn't know he was coming, and then he walks around the corner, and I almost poo-pooed my britches. And yeah, so y'all got one on the old man, but that's a lot easier now than it used to be. Because I used to care about stuff like that. Now I'm just thankful to see anybody and everybody. And speaking of that, for future reference, and I roomed with Tread while we were up there, and I don't want y'all to get any weird ideas or anything like that. But for future reference, if me and Tread are on a trip together, we're probably going to be rooming together, because I think we're the only two in the world that can stand a room kept to the temperature of a meat locker. And after a hot day out on the range, walking into that room was absolutely wonderful.
That's how mine was. I turned it down when I left in the morning, and matter of fact, the first night they turned it back up, and I talked to the lady. I said, "Hey, somebody turned my air conditioner up after I turned it down." They said, "I want you to leave that alone," and they did.
Yeah, yep. That happened to us one time. We were in a bunch of rooms, and it was hot. We had them all turned down, and we come back. Every room, the air conditioner was turned back up to like 75, and we weren't happy at all.
Yep.
And I don't know what Tread did to the refrigerator, but the water when we got back was almost slushy. You know, I'm like, dang, that's good. But yeah, what a fun trip, guys. I know everybody can't make a first time trip, and I know it was a long way for a lot of y'all, but you know, when we have these events, it's a whole lot of fun to get to meet everybody, to shoot with everybody, to shoot different guns that you hadn't shot before. And I was working on a scope video, a review for D&T, the one, and I think everybody enjoyed shooting that scope. It seemed like it was well received, so I think I got a good piece of film to put together and make them a review. Gene helped me a lot with that. I think it's going to turn out well. I hope they like it. Tread says, I need to get a bolt gun, I guess. Let me tell you something. Tread's got this 357 SIG that he's got tricked out. And that sucker is awesome. That thing is this little AR platform thing. And he's got that one down. And I realized when we got up there just exactly how much work I need to be doing with all of my firearms, because you guys got your stuff dialed in. I think I had one of mine really dialed in. And of course, I shot Rebels 6mm bench rest. That sucker has a trigger on it that would, I don't know, that thing would make the devil nervous. But man, that gun shoots. And if you weren't there, seriously think about coming to the next one. And I just hope and pray that we were well enough behaved that Rebel will have us back. I hope his club wouldn't mind if we showed up again. And fabulous place to shoot. Not big, not fancy, very adequate, very. What can I say? I mean, we were out there in hot temperatures, but we weren't oppressive. It wasn't oppressive heat. I mean, the conditions were. We were so blessed. Don't y'all
Couldn't
think?
ask for better. Couldn't ask for better weather.
Yeah, I mean the breeze was just right. Mostly a tailwind from you to the target, and you didn't have to fool with riding the wind. Of course, at 300 yards, you ain't got to worry too much about side wind.
Unless you're shooting a little 15 grain, 17 caliber bullet.
That was awesome too, and y'all keep your eye out for videos from our trip. I think I hope all y'all will think about coming to join us next time. And I know it's a long way.
My first one, I think, is the 8th, and I got another one on the 9th, and I got at least one more after that I haven't finished editing yet.
I'll be working all next week and most of the day tomorrow. I got to get up and cut some grass. And
Gene's already got a couple of what are they called?
Posts.
Community posts.
Yeah, so I did community posts, and then my Let Freedom Ring video was just each of us shooting, rifles, pistols. So I thought that was good to do.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, those pistol bays are world class, in my opinion. I've seen more targets, but not nearly as well organized as those were.
Hey, we got to shoot Bigfoot while we were there. Okay, just saying.
Yeah. And
He was hiding pretty good too. You notice that?
yeah. And Gene's 10mm is pretty awesome too. That thing is fun.
Yeah, it shoots good.
I
10
think
millimeters. 10 millimeters really are a lot of fun. I agree with that.
It's the best millimeter.
yeah, but this one's dead on sight wise. The trigger's good. He slicked it up. I mean, Hillbilly, I wished you'd have been able to join us, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
that pistol was awesome. Tread's 357 SIG was awesome. My 6.5 shot pretty well. Christian has the wildest lever gun I've ever seen in my life. It's 44 Magnum's got an EOTech mounted on the front of it, and it's got a silencer on it. It is so awesome. He's got an AR-10 6.5mm that shoots every bit as good as my bolt action. I mean, that thing is nice, and it's got a suppressor on it too. And it's what's so wild about it is when he fires it, you don't hear a boom or a bang. It's a crack, and the action moving is what you're hearing, and it's a sonic crack. There's, how do you say Ken's name, Hillbilly?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I think that was just most of that come from what Christian's lever was. I think that was just the sound of the firing pin.
You're talking about Canadon? Yeah.
Canadon?
Welcome in, bro.
And I'm probably not saying that correctly, but best I can remember.
Yeah, Tread's got lots of comments. Let's see if we can catch up on. Yeah, he agrees with the range. Awesome facility. The wind was giving CW fits. Thank you, Rebel, for the accommodation. Great facilities. And thanks to Rebel's wife for hosting us the last night for dinner. And we saw things that we'll probably never see again. And we'll leave that at that. What a fun time. What a fun time. It's 8:30. What are we going to type in? How about HBA for Happy Birthday America?
Oh, Lord.
Does that work?
That works.
Hush.
All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Andy is on the panel and in the side chat. Andy79Z28 first in. Reload from the hot pots on the panel. Texas 6 is on the panel. Tread thought we should have put in Rebel, and he's probably right. Glenn Davis is out there. Edward Petty is out there. Tread's out there. Ron 2A Matters. GGW Outdoors. Barbie Barlow's out there. Glenn Davis, last of 3. Welcome in, buddy. Alaska 1 Andy. Ozzy Osborne. Duffer 426. Harm. Glenn Davis. Walks Fletcher. Mike of Many Mikes. Glenn Davis. Walks Fletcher. Sushi Bodie. Hillbilly Up is on the panel in the side chat. Bama Dad is on the panel and in the side chat. Dwayne 7834. Fred and Papa's Place. He sent me a text telling me Happy Independence Day. Thank you, Papa. We appreciate that. Okay, to the first topic. We want to go through the timeline of American independence. Are y'all okay with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is Wikipedia. Um,
Just don't start off with 7 years ago.
that's
That'd be the wrong time period.
That's 100 some odd years later. So the American Revolution actually went on between 1765 and 1783. It was a colonial rebellion and war of independence in which the 13 colonies broke from British rule to form the United States of America. The revolution culminated in the Revolutionary War, which was launched on April 19, 1775, in the battles of Lexington and Concord. Leaders of the American Revolution were colonial separatist leaders who, as British subjects, initially sought incremental levels of autonomy, but came to embrace the cause of full independence and the necessity of prevailing in the Revolutionary War to obtain it. The Second Continental Congress, which represented the colonies, were convened in present-day Independence Hall in Philadelphia, formed the Continental Army, and appointed George Washington as its commander-in-chief in June of 1775, which is April, May, June, 2 months after the first battles, and unanimously adopted the Declaration of Independence the following year, which inspired, formalized, and escalated the war. For most of the 8-year war, its outcome appeared uncertain, but in 1781, now I can't read tonight, a decisive victory by Washington and the Continental Army in the siege of Yorktown inspired King George III and the British to negotiate an end to colonial rule in the colonies and acknowledge their independence, which was codified in the Treaty of Paris in 1783, leading to the establishment of the sovereign United States of America. So basically, this stuff started in 1765 and wasn't over until 1783. The war lasted 8 years. So the day we celebrate the independence of America, Independence Day, is the day that we actually signed and ratified the Declaration of Independence. There was a committee of 5 that presented the draft of the Declaration of Independence to the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia on June 28, 1776. And there's a famous painting of that. So the Treaty of Paris ended all the hostilities, and that wasn't until 1783. So when we say today is America's 250th or 249th birthday, it's all relative, right? Because it went on for 18 years. So there's that. We got West Covina Dodge out there. Buzz T Fork 8's out there. Abigail's out there. Any comments y'all got about that?
Makes me want to go watch The Patriot. I love that movie.
I did too.
Mario. Y'all ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, well. In 3, 2.
Oh, lost him again.
Dang mouse.
Mario's having connection difficulties. There you go, Tread. We're going to talk about that in the verse of the week tonight, too. Anyway, we know he's out there and we know he's listening. So, y'all ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Hey. West Coast weirdo.
And look at there, we got Lever Guns 50 in here. Happy birthday, America, Lever Guns. Me and Bama Dad need to come see you. We're going to go to, as soon as we can, Big Bob Gibson's, right, Bama Dad?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Maybe Lever Guns 50 can join us.
I wouldn't mind going there today.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
You couldn't get near that place today.
No, probably sold out.
I drove by Jim and Nick's and wasn't worth it.
I hear you. So he says absolutely. So we'll get in touch with him before we decide to go. Lever guns, we've been talking about lever gun development. Won't be back in the States until August. Wow, dude. That's pretty awesome, man. I hope you're having a good time. I hope it's pleasure, not work. But yeah. Yeah, we all had a good time. So anything else about the revolution or the war or
It's just amazing to me to think that a bunch of farmers and people with limited means just stood up to one of the most powerful nations in the world and said, no more. We're done.
yeah, see, it says that they started getting ill with the defeat of France in the French and Indian War in 1763. So the colonies had fought for the English during the war, and then Parliament imposed new taxes on them. So thanks for your help. Now I pay these higher taxes to help us recoup the money that we spent in the war. That ain't how it works, buddy. So it was a Stamp Act in 1765.
And the Tea Party.
67, the Townsend Act. And then King George III sent British troops to Boston. And he'd already sent them to Montreal. And the British troops killed protesters in the Boston Massacre, March 5th, 1770. Then anti-tax demonstrators destroyed the Royal Navy schooner Gaspee off present-day Warwick, Rhode Island. And then December 16th, 1773, the Sons of Liberty activists wearing costumes of Native Americans instigated the Boston Tea Party, during which they boarded and dumped chests of teas owned by the British East India Company into Boston Harbor. And London responded by closing the Boston Harbor and passed some punitive laws. Then in late 1774, 12 of the 13 colonies sent delegates to the First Continental Congress. And the province of Georgia joined in 1775. Can you imagine that? There he is. Hey!
Hi. What's
Hey.
going on, everybody?
Hey,
Good to see you,
Mario.
Mario.
Some difficulties, man. You know, I had to restart my computer. So it is what it is. Well, happy birthday, America. Happy birthday to all my fellow Americans. Love y'all, man. Appreciate all your support because without it, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. So much
Oh,
love.
yeah.
And I'm drinking this because I need to calm myself down because I don't like all the fireworks. You guys know I'm not crazy about them. A lot of stuff that, brings back some bad juju for me. So I drink a little because I have a tendency of calming myself down. And I really don't feel like going off on people. So rather get drunk.
Well, then have another one if it's going to help you with that.
And see, I'm a happy drunk. So it's a win-win for everybody. I am. I'm the I love you guy. So
We're here for you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Oh, heck yeah. Leverguns 50 is on mission in the Philippines. Goodness gracious, dude.
Awesome.
Amen.
You go, man.
My son-in-law's
His
family,
daughter's
my
hot.
son-in-law's from the Philippines. So beautiful there.
Glenn Davis said he'll join you. Back when I was a kid, the old folks used to say, we'll have a fifth on the fourth. Back when there was
Yeah.
such a thing as a fifth, but not anymore.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
That's better than one I heard.
Yeah, you definitely don't want me to go crazy on you.
You know what they say? You never see five Baptist deacons together without four Baptist deacons together without a fifth.
Having trouble hearing you, Bama Dad. Say that again.
They say you never see four Baptist deacons together without a fifth.
First time I went to Texas on a Sunday, we were going to the races and we stopped by to get some beer and ice. And they're like, well, for one, you can't buy ice in the beer store or what, like, but anyway, they're like, well, we can't sell alcohol till 12:30. I'm like, oh yeah, what's up with that? And they're like, the Baptists don't want anybody to get a head start on them.
Hey,
And I'm Baptist, so I mean, it's
yeah, the common thing. I'm Baptist too, and they say we're getting less and less hypocritical these days. We actually speak to each other in the liquor store nowadays.
Oh, I'll never forget. My dad said he took a friend of ours to the officers club, and he ordered him a drink, and they're sitting there drinking. And a guy walked up that the friend of my dad's knew. This guy was a Baptist deacon, and he slid his glass over in front of my dad. My dad he said, "Hey, you either pick that up and drink it, or I'm gonna pour it over your head." Oh,
Well, there you go. Tread got another Dylan before he left North Carolina. You want to tell us about this, Rebel, or we're going to make him type it out over there?
Nah, but Tread could be in the middle of the Mojave Desert and say, you know, Mike, something's itching my butt, and reach back there and just pull a 550 or 650 or something out of his hind end. I mean, it's just the way he is. And he was sitting there with one of my customers that comes in. It's actually a neighbor of mine, and he's a good friend. And we're sitting there talking, and Trev was kind of left out of the conversation. And Trev was sitting back relaxing, and this guy was just talking along. And I said something about reloading, and then he said, "What are you reloading on?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to convert it over to my Dylan 550. He says, "I wish those things were easier to convert." And about that time, the phone rang, and I picked up the phone. Well, he walked back there, and Tread said, "They're not too hard to convert," or something around those lines. And next thing you know, he's talking about a square deal that he'd screwed up and had forever, and he'd sell it for $75. And he said, "I got to leave, but I'll be back here in 2 hours." Tread said, "I'll just wait on you." By God, he came back in 2 hours.
So, what caliber is it? Did it have any caliber conversions or any dies? Or anything?
I don't think it had anything extra. I didn't see any dies, Mario. But Tread's got all that crap. I mean, he's got square deal stuff.
I'll be honest with you, man. And I know not everybody's crazy about Dylan, but once you get into that blue Kool-Aid, man, it's kind of hard to get out of it. It really is.
It is. It really is.
God.
It's so, especially for like pistol or like battle cartridges like 5.56 or whatever. And you could do precision work with it too if you want to, but that's not what I use it for. The first time I ever sat down and I asked Tread how much I could do, he says 9mm.
Yeah.
He said, how much do you think I could do an hour? He says, "Well, I don't want to give you too much hope and this and that." He just tell you what, he said, "Call me back in a few hours." I called him back. I said I did over 300 rounds in an hour, and I wasn't really moving all that fast. You know, I just getting the hang of it. You know.
Yeah, Fuzzy, I get it. I know not everybody can afford a Dylan, but I'm telling you, if you can splurge, I mean, why the hell not? I'll be honest with you, man. And I just added a bullet feeder to my 750. Oh my God, man, you talking about?
You can find them used just like Tread did. You know,
absolutely. You can
part of
find
it's
them
the right
used.
place in the right time, but I think I got 3, and I haven't bought any of them new.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, the one that you can find a lot and very, very cheap is the 450. If you're okay with doing that, you know, the what do you call it? I can't think right now. But anyways, it's just a little different. But I mean, if you're okay with it, you know, 450's way to go.
Yeah, that was Willie's. I think Scotsman's got it now, right?
Yeah.
Yep, mine are 550 and 550Bs.
Yeah, mine was a 550, and Tread converted it to a C, I think. And I had a few issues with the little plastic Dumaflachi on the powder thrower arm. It kept popping out. Something wasn't lined up, and called Tread. He walked me through it. I got that thing lined up. It's like butter now.
Yep. The powder measures are real consistent with a broad range of powders. They're solid. They like anything else, it's a lot of moving parts, and it can be a learning curve. But by and large, it's really good. And
I tell people if they remember to do a full stroke down, a full stroke up, and not kind of just sort of half-ass do it, that they'll have better results.
And they'll help you out.
And
Call them up. They'll walk you through what you need. They're not quite
Right.
like RCBS with their throwing around parts, but they'll help you out with whatever you need. They've got a good website, and they got good people that know what they're talking about when you call them. They're not so great for dealers, but for the end user, they're really good.
I do blame the lead turret press on my bad habits when I got a Dylan. I had a tendency, sometimes when you're doing the turret press, you just move it a little bit just so you can go to the next step and stuff like that. Well, I kind of started doing that with my Dylan 550 when I first started. And I used to have a lot of bad issues with the powder measure until, I started doing full strokes and stuff like that. Then I didn't have those issues with the powder measure anymore, but I think that's something that I had the hardest of time with it. And it took me a while to get out of that bad habit. But once I did, I didn't have any issues with the powder measure.
I see a lot of used ones through the cowboy action stuff. People are getting out of it. And they also give away a lot of them at the big meet. One day I'll upgrade to one of them, but it'll be a full-blown, fast as it'll go type thing. That'd be the only reason I'd go to one.
My buddy got a 650, and then the 750 came out, and he found a way to get rid of his 650 and get a 750. And I was helping him out getting it set up and getting it going, and it's just not for me. I'm more happy with my 550. So it's all personal preference. The 550
it is
what I needed to do.
I
But I'll be honest with
only
you.
just to produce large quantities fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, honestly, the best rounds I've ever produced for a 308 has been on that 550. I don't know what it is, but rifle cartridges on that press, man, it's a winner, baby. That and the straight walls, like 38s, no issues.
It's just automatic enough, and it's just solid. It's just a really solid press. You don't get into some of the pitfalls, downfalls that you do with a full progressive, because it's not full progressive. It can run like one, but you have to do a lot of the stuff manually. But it's just a solid press. It really is. It'll make enough rounds fast, unless you're really a blaster shooter, shooting a lot of stuff. But it's a solid press for vast majority of shooters.
And I also think that a lot of new reloaders think that it's so cool to constantly make rounds and stuff like that. And they get into this allure of oh my god, I can make 1,000 rounds in an hour. This is the greatest thing in the world. And it's not about that. It's about precision, man. It's
It
about
shouldn't be, but it's
doing the little
many people
things,
worry about that.
like JH taught me the plunk test. Little things like that. Just I think that's the reason why we have these forums, is to educate people that the speed you'll get there, but I mean it takes a long time for you to get there, man. And even when I think I'm going too fast, I always like backtrack and I double check my powder, I double check my measurements. I because here's my thing: one bad thing can pretty much destroy one of your guns. And I think all of us can say that we don't have cheap guns, so
No.
we definitely don't want to mess them up.
Yep, ruin your day.
I brought a friend in.
1,000 rounds in an hour. They're not doing something they need to be doing. They're missing some steps.
Right, but there's these videos that kind of
Allude to that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. appreciate that. Yeah, they have a tendency of just like, they make these 30-second shorts on YouTube where this guy pretty much has like a bullet feeder and a case feeder. I've seen it even on a Lee uh, uh, turret press, and these guys are just cranking rounds and stuff like that. But I really don't think that that's what reloading is all about. I think it's all about making the best round each round, making it the best you can possibly be. It's not. You know, I mean, it's great. Like when you get to a certain point when you get a 550 or 750, and all of a sudden you see your containers just full of ammo. I mean, it's great, but I'm one of those people. I'm so paranoid. I double check everything. You know.
Yeah, I
Well,
got
like
the
I was saying,
alarms.
I reload all of our 38s for the cowboy action, which I need a lot of. I only do that on the Lee 6-pack. That's all it's set up for. Just bang them out, bang them out. Everything else is done on my other presses.
Yeah, and I like that Lee six pack, man. I mean, Lee makes great presses, man. I don't knock anything on Lee. Believe me, that was my first press, and I love Lee products. I really do appreciate that they make a lot of affordable stuff for a lot of new reloaders, and even guys that have been doing it for a long time. Every time I go watch one of their videos, like, oh, that's pretty neat. Make a lot of neat stuff at Lee. I really do like that, and I appreciate their stuff.
So I don't know if y'all been watching the Brian CW Fuzz said I can make 15 reloads an hour with my Lyman but P60NG tool. It looks like pliers.
Yep.
Get your heart out, CW.
Wow, that's old school. Like there's no tomorrow right there.
And I've been. I asked Lever Guns 50 what time it was in the Philippines, just for curiosity. He said it's 8:56 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I said Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
He said, yeah, it's Saturday morning the 5th over there.
Yep, yep, yep. No, that's great that he's doing the God's work over there in the Philippines.
Yeah.
There's actually a very big Christian community there. It's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
there is.
Yeah, I would like to get a hold of Lever Gun somehow through email or something. Like I said, my son-in-law has family there, so
I can't
I can
remember.
ask him if I can forward that information to you. If I have his contact, I'll ask him.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know this, but the Philippines is pretty vast, buddy. It's got like 60, 70 islands or something like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous how big that place is, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't think.
And
of
I
then
don't know if you noticed, Jamie. You probably didn't. I trust these guys so much that when they were at my house, like I said, I was feeling pretty much under the weather, coming off a round of antibiotics and prednisone, and been in the heat all day. And I just went back upstairs, told Tred, I said, if they need to answer to a question, just holler at me. And I left them alone in my gun room. And Jamie was over there, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. But I didn't know if you noticed that little old funky looking homemade pistol up on that shelf with
I did.
Yep.
Well, guess what? That's from the Philippines of World War II. A friend of mine was a soldier, and he was stationed in the Philippines, and he was going to go invade Japan, and of course they dropped the big boy, and so he turned around, went to the Philippines, and hey, buddy,
No.
and he
Bruno.
confiscated that off a little Filipino guy. He'd made it from truck parts.
I had it
Ain't
in
that
my hand. I'm like, what in the world is this?
That's exactly what that is. Paul milled the firing pin off of it because he's afraid one of the kids would put a bullet in there and shoot it. But best I could tell, it's no rifling, and it's about 38 caliber.
I didn't know if it was 938 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
I
want
thought
to see?
pretty
I'm sorry,
cool
go ahead.
gun for making from truck parts, you know.
Well, if you really like Jeeps, you want to see some cool Jeeps that you've never seen in your life. Look at Jeep videos from the Philippines because Americans left a bunch of Jeeps over there, and they stretched these things out. They made taxis out of them. They made hot rods out of them. Like America has nothing on the Philippines when it comes to Jeep. I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
they are wild.
yeah. They make a kit in the Philippines that's for like the Willys Jeep,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually have it sent to your house. Can actually ship to your house.
Oh
And
wow!
when it gets to your house, all you got to do is put a transmission and an engine on it, and it's good to go. That's it. That's it.
But there's
What
some
about the
wild looking.
Cubans? They've still got those 50s American cars running down there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they
57
still have the
Vision.
four Fairlanes and
Never know what's under the hood of them,
oh
but
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've obviously never been to Cuba.
They don't have to put salt in their roads in the wintertime. That's why they.
Touche. Okay, Gene, you ready?
Yes, sir.
What's Hot Pot got tonight?
Hot Pot's going to do something just a little bit different tonight, being that this is the 4th of July and our 249th year of independence.
What's
Or
that
thereabouts. Thereabouts, you know, tomato at this point. It's within that range, so it's all good. It's all good. But I don't have anything to show, but I have something to share. And what I wanted to share is the dominant firearms used for our independence through all of these years, these 249 years. So the first one's going to start with the Revolutionary War. In the Revolutionary War, the dominant firearm was the smoothbore musket, typically firing round balls with diameters ranging from 0.60 to 0.70 inches. Sometimes a slightly smaller ball would be used for more faster velocities. Now, this is going to take us to the Civil War. During the Civil War, rifled muskets, such as the Springfield Model 1861 and the British Enfield Pattern 1853, were common, both typically firing a .58 caliber mini balls. Now, on to the next would be the Spanish-American War. Spanish-American War, the standard rifle caliber for the U.S. Army was the .30-40 Craig, and the .38 caliber Colt, new model Army and Navy revolver, was also used. Now we're going to lead to World War I and World War II. In World War I and World War II, the .30-06 Springfield cartridge became the standard for American rifles, used in the M1903 Springfield, the M1917 Enfield, and the M1 Garand, as well as the common sidearm was the .45 ACP 1911. During the Korean War, the .30-06 Springfield was also used in the M1 Garand, remained a primary rifle caliber, with the .45 ACP being the standard handgun caliber in the M1911A1 pistol. This takes us to the Vietnam War, and we're stepping up a little bit here. The standard rifle caliber transitions to the 5.56 with the adaptation of the M16, with the .45 ACP still being the standard issue sidearm in the M1911A1. This takes us up to the Gulf War. And this is going to be considered all from the Gulf War to all wars past that point up to today's date. And that is the 5.56 NATO used in the M16A2, was a standard rifle caliber. Machine guns like the M249 Saw also used this caliber. And then come the introduction of the 50 BMG. Then the standard common sidearm was either a 45 ACP or a 9mm. So that's what I wanted to bring, was just the common calibers that were shot that has brought us our freedom by the brave ones that were willing to carry them and use them to defend us and the future. But I also want to add that Republic Ammunition, which is where I happily work, is having a wonderful 4th of July sale. We have a lot of good deals on there. Look around for your primers, your powders, your projectiles, and your brass. If you don't see it on there, call and ask. We may have something that's just not listed, may not have enough of it to list, but we still have it available for you, my fellow reloaders. So that is what Hot Pot's got tonight.
Very cool, man. Very cool. West Covina Dodge said no love for the trapdoor 4570. The sharps were used some in the Civil War.
Now, I did not include every one of them in there. I went with the most commonly used, not all the little niche rounds.
You're talking about Union government issue.
Yes, I'm talking about issued for the common use during the time periods of those conflicts and wars.
Well, in the Civil War, a lot of the Southern guys had to fight with whatever they could get.
Yes, which is why I'm just going to basically just government issued items and then on to NATO.
Very good, man. Very nice.
Because there's so many, there's so many calibers that were used in all these wars and conflicts that we involved around the world. I'd be here for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and wouldn't know about 92% of them.
Yeah. Now the younger generation that does a lot of gaming, they would use the 5.7 probably.
Yeah. So Justin Grimm's looking for DM head stamp 30-06 cases from World War II. If any of y'all can help him out, we'd appreciate it. How you doing, Justin? Good to see you out there, buddy.
Yeah. And Gene, I did check that Maya calendar, and it did say the 250th, so it's off a little bit.
Well, it is also rumored that there was actually a fraternal organization come from the Boston Tea Party, and that is the Redmonds Club. And the Redmonds Club was supposedly started from the people who did the Boston Tea Party as the very first fraternal organization in America. I don't know if that's
there's so much
factual.
Yeah, there's so much history out there that
I belong to a Redmonds Club. I belong to Tonka's 222.
Yeah, there's so much history out there. It's not taught in the schools. I mean, people don't know. I mean, probably who even John Paul Jones is, let alone know that his crew of gunfighters he had on a ship was the very first Marines. When he pulled up beside the British ships, not also having cannons, he had people on the side of the deck putting lead in people's heads so they couldn't fire the cannons on the other ship. And later on, that organization became the Marines. And there's so much history that, is just not taught out there.
Yeah,
I try, Hillbilly. I try.
I know, Mark. John Paul Jones, man. If anybody is a history buff, just go look up stuff. That guy, he made our naval basically, and did stuff literally disguised himself as an enemy ship and boarded other ships and took them over. He stole an entire British fleet with just his boat and his crew. I mean, the dude was wild. But,
There's another club that not too many people know about called the 40 and 8 Club.
Yeah.
And they're named for the rail cars used in World War One.
Mm-hmm.
They would hold 40 men or 40 men and 8 mules, 40 and 8. And they actually did they call it a freedom train when they came back to the States after the war was over. Drove it all across the country, left cars at every state.
Hey, fellas, I'm going to get going. I'm going to get my grub on. But just want to wish you guys happy 4th. Continue to support our troops. By the way, this year we have the Army's birthday. We also have the Navy and the Marine Corps. They're all celebrating 250 years of existence. So also celebrate them. Thank them for their service. I am out of here. Much love. God bless you.
Night,
Night,
Mario.
Mario.
Good night, Mario. Thanks for being here,
See you,
brother.
buddy.
God bless, brother.
Yeah. The 56 Spencer Lever Guns 50. I'm going to have to go look that one up. I got an idea.
I've got a short on that cartridge. I did it when I did all those short cartridges. I talked about the 56 Spencer and the Spencer rifle.
Nice.
So Tread's got some equivalent 2230. So I got a pretty good load. I had 2 different ladder loads for 270, trying to work up a hunting load. And I got 2 workable loads out of both, 1 workable load out of each of my ladder groups. But it was so hot. Typically, I shoot 5-shot groups, but it was so hot and the barrel got so hot so fast. I only shot 3-shot groups up there. And but to really work up a hunting load, your gun needs to stay outside all night long in cold weather, and then you take 1 shot in the morning and set it back down and do the same thing tomorrow, all winter. That's how you really should work up a hunting load, because you typically get 1-2 shots. No comment. Y'all
well, there's a lot of schools of thought.
That'd take a little bit.
I don't take it to quite an extreme. I think that's a little. Well, I won't say it's anything bad, but if that's what you want to do, it's your gun, it's your deal, it's you. That's what you do.
I'm not leaving my gun outside all night. CW, I'm not.
What?
Well, I'll tell you,
Go pour water
during
down the
hunting
barrel
season,
either.
we hunt a lot different, weather conditions than you do down in Georgia. But up in Vermont, up in Vermont and Maine, I mean, we're below 0, and you just don't bring your gun in the house. It's going to freeze.
Condensy.
It's going to freeze. You don't do it.
Yeah,
You leave it in the
open
truck,
the
or you leave it. We leave it in the outhouse. You leave it outside. I mean, some of the camps I've been to, it's different. Nobody's going to touch it. Nobody's going to touch it. Nobody's going to think of touching it. Nobody's going to come near it. And if somebody does come over to visit or whatever, they know what it is, because theirs outside too, and they're not going to touch it because they don't expect you to touch theirs. They're not going to touch yours. So it's a different thing. But yeah, you don't bring them inside in the cold weather. In muzzleloader season for us, we don't have to unload. We have to take the priming compound off, so the percussion cap or the primer has to come out. Other than that, as long as that's not on it, it's not considered loaded. So when I'm here at my house, I put it in the garage. It doesn't come in from the beginning of the season to the end, unless it gets fired, because it forms moisture condenses in the powder, and then you get a dud. And that's muzzleloader, black powder stuff.
I can see
buddy.
that.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
it doesn't come in.
Around here, and I'm pretty sure 6 will back me up and back my dad too. When it's 0 degrees in the south, we just don't go hunting that day.
Not in your old age, I did when I was younger. But
I
I've
don't
had
even let the deer come out here when it gets that cold.
I've had
Yeah,
the
the
actually
first-
opposite problem, and I showed CW a picture of it the other day. Taking my guns out of my air conditioned house,
Yeah.
and when I get to the range and I take them out of the box,
They're
instant
sweating.
water all over them. And the wife's Marlin's got surface rust on it now
Uh-oh.
because she hadn't been shooting in 8 weeks, and when I pulled it out for her the other day, it had rust on it. So it was the only one though.
You need some of those sleeves.
We
That's why
have
we
some
should-
sleeves on it. Mine is some sleeves from Hoppy's, I believe, and I think they're silicone. And she bought some off of Amazon. And I don't think they're coated in anything.
I can get you.
That's the big reason that I like that Ezox so much. It's really, really good at protection from rust. It goes on wet and it dries and it just protects. I did that test with the nails, and those nails were out there for months, outside, rain, snow, sleet, and they didn't rust.
Yeah, that was
I don't know what more you can do to
video.
prove that stuff works, but it works. Ezox, it works.
Yeah, that's why I think we should just always shoot from the air condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first, my first deer ever, it was 9 degrees that day. That was cold. We
Yeah,
don't
it's
get
cold.
winters like that here no more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've gone out, ice hanging off my beard and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Hey, Six.
get it all the time.
Six, I
All the
just
time up north.
in the side chat. Check those out. I've had great luck with all their products, and we have a lot of humidity here in Alabama. I have no rust problem.
There you go with links
Anybody-
out there for y'all. Way to ask you
Anybody
to
ever
break
use
the last-
Ballistol as a coating? Not as a lube, but as a coating. Ballistol.
See, that's
It's
what I use on my guns a lot because I'm cleaning them after black powder. But hers,
Right.
I have,
It's vegetable oil based and it stinks. It's kind of weird. But if you rub it on the steel of your gun and you let it dry, you walk out in the next little rainstorm or whatever and it'll bead water like wax.
Yeah, we shoot we see a lot of guys in what we call shooting houses with those buddy heaters in there. It ain't that cold, guys. I mean, our average. Well, here's the problem in Georgia is that
As I say, you're in Georgia.
yeah. It archery, that's the word I'm trying to get out. Archery season starts middle of September. It's still 90-degree days in September. I ain't going in the woods,
No,
Then
you'd
the
have to use
rifle season
Go ahead.
starts middle of October. So, I typically start hunting in November, end of October, 1st of November, and then I'll hunt all the way through New Year's Day or the week after. Typically, our season goes from the middle of October to almost the middle of January. Usually, they try to give you 2 weekends into January to use the firearms that you got for Christmas to hunt with. I think that's their thinking. But yeah, now when it gets right around mid-November, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and on up at past New Year's, we can have some temperatures in the teens and sometimes single digits. But
Yeah, you can leave that thermocell at the house then. But
yeah,
that's the reason I stopped bow hunting was mosquitoes and taking 2 thermocells with me.
and ticks.
Oh God.
That yeah, ticks don't. It gets ticks make me not want to bow hunt at all or use my
Triggers.
chiggers or
I hate those things.
yeah.
Well, my whole thing is the deer. You know, if you once you get the animal, it's you got to act before they spoil. And if you don't have a
Yeah.
clue you can get it into, I mean, why did you shoot the thing if it's going to spoil and it's going to go to waste?
Right. If
So
the low
that's my whole
if the low that night's going to be 68 degrees, what's unless you got a processor open close by, you
it's going to be
are
spoiled. You're not going
it's
to
gonna be
lose the
spoiled.
animal. You're better off
Yep.
not
As
taking
soon as
it.
we get back from the stand, we quarter them up and put them in ice chests and ice them down if we don't have a walk-in cooler to put them in.
Yep,
Right.
you have to.
So those are your choices in the South. You
Well,
take them to
and
the
also-
processor and hang them in the cooler, or put them in a cooler on ice.
And also, you got to worry about when you got ticks on, it don't matter if it's rabbits or deer or whatever, you got to worry about Lyme disease and all that stuff too from the ticks. So,
It's a whole
You
lot
got to worry
better.
about all
Just
kind of.
wait till after that first
Yeah.
frost.
You can get ticks here just cutting your grass.
That's a good one right there. But y'all, he's in Canadian. He's in Alaska, isn't he?
Oh yeah, that's a
He ain't
thing,
got
and,
no
and
ticks.
that goes to taking care of your firearms based on the conditions you're in. You really don't want excessive lube on things because that's what can happen. That's a common thing for real cold weather. You know, freezing up your bolt so your firing pin doesn't move in a bolt action rifle. You know, it's common. You know,
yeah, and I put out there in side chat, I want to remind everybody, go make sure you check out all those videos out there. It's hashtag Let Freedom Ring. I mean, I watched for like almost an hour and I still didn't catch all the videos, and it's fun to watch. I'll have to finish watching everybody's.
Yeah, all the people that I'm sub to, it took me over 30 minutes to watch all their videos.
Great videos.
I was watching them for 45 minutes while I was cooking dinner.
I don't know who started that way back when, but what a great idea.
There's Steve. What's happening, bud?
Hey.
Happy birthday, America.
so I don't know if many of you guys got to watch my opening videos on that 17 Ruger WSM, but I got a lot of comments because one of our fellow YouTube creators there, Mr. Adam Weiss, Hootie Hoo, had one blow up on him. So I've had lots of comments about mine on that. And when we were shooting it, I did a short video, and I did a trigger pull Thursday on it so far. And it's got like a 5 or 6 pound trigger pull. It's hideous. It's bad. And I got home from North Carolina, and I got a Rifle Basics trigger here. I got a Macarbo trigger kit, and I got about 4 other pieces for cute little things that I'm going to add to that rifle. I'm going to do a video on it next chance I get. So that'll be pretty good. We're going to fix that up on that 17 WSM.
Well, if I'm not
Seems to be pretty popular.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think this was the first video I seen with Hootie Hoo saying he had one blow up, some pistol or rifle blow up on him. So
yeah, he's had some issues. I think this one is something that he
quit sticking wood in the end of that barrel.
he created. Yeah, he didn't knowingly do it, of course, but he created his own problem there with damaging the bullet before he put it in the chamber. Is what I think. What I think happened.
It's heavy.
It's pretty high
heavy
pressure
barrel
for.
and stuff.
It's pretty high pressure for a thin rimfire case, and it's perfectly safe. But if you compromise it, that's what that's how the guns are designed. They're designed to blow the magazine out, to blow those pressures down, out, and away from the shooter. And it's unfortunate it broke his stock, but it did and functioned exactly as it was supposed to protect the shooter. You could lose an eye, you could lose fingers, you can lose all kinds of things. And if the safest way for that gas to go is out through the magazine, I mean, Gene knows this with the handguns. They blow up magazines all the time. That's what happens. When a handgun goes, that's what it goes. The magazine goes. And it's because it's the safest direction to vent those gases. Bolt actions have a hole in the side, most of them, to vent the gases out away from the shooter.
Yep.
And
Steve
it's just how they're built. So
Steve got a message for you, CW.
It didn't work bad. It worked like it's supposed to.
Makes a 17 look good. I'm trying to justify buying one.
It's such a dandy cartridge. I mean, we were shooting it out to 300 yards I'm picking off little 1-inch, half-inch pieces of clay pigeon at 300 yards, like every time, as long as the wind didn't blow. As long as the wind blew, I was done. But it's a 15 grain bullet. It's a 25 grain bullet. It's a 20 grain bullet. So it's light and small, but it's accurate.
Yeah, I've had that in my feed, but I hadn't watched it yet. But,
yeah, he did another video yesterday or today or day before about he took the brake off one of his rifles and he unscrewed the barrel of the rifle. He made it up like there was something wrong with the gun, but in reality, most all of us know that brakes are put on with Loctite of some kind. So why he wouldn't try and heat it up to defeat that Loctite, I don't know. But spinning the barrel off it happens to a lot of people if you don't defeat the Loctite.
Well, that's
If you got two threads going in the same direction, you got to make sure
Also-
which one broke.
Also, you're supposed to clamp the barrel, not the receiver. So.
exactly. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
He said it himself. He's in this for the money. This is what he does for a job. So, and outlandish comments and outlandish videos create lots of views, and views make him money.
Yeah.
So that's the business he's in. And business is good.
Yeah.
So at least he didn't get hurt. That's the bottom line. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, and he didn't get hurt. So that's the number one.
yeah,
The rest
but
of it is
it was a
educational.
Ruger M77.
Exactly the same rifle as mine, just with a walnut stock instead of a laminated stock. It might be blued, but it's the same gun. Yeah.
I've got a M77 with the orange butt pad, all that, an old and 30-06.
Yeah.
So
Uncle Bob's there with 358. That's a 77 original, just like your.
That gun's awesome, man.
Oh, it's a beautiful gun.
It is. That thing is awesome, and Uncle Bob is awesome too. You gotta start dragging him either on here or.
Yep. Well, you've been seeing him in my videos. Like I said, he just started reloading. He's been around firearms and guns and hunting his whole life, but didn't really take on to it a lot until recently. And now he's both feet and he's up to his waist.
I'd say.
After this trip, he's up to his neck.
He's up to his neck now. He might be standing on his tippy toes, trying to keep air in his lungs.
Don't you think, Gene?
Absolutely. He was going nuts.
Okay, in celebration of today, America's birthday, here's our verse of the week. And this is going to take me a minute. Now, I'm sorry I tried to edit it down, but I can't. And Psalm 33:12, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. here's an article on that passage. It's called Blessed is the Nation Whose God is the Lord, America, Revival, and the Divine Hand in Leadership by Phil Hotzenplyer. And he repeats the verse. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. There are moments in history when the spiritual destiny of a nation stands at a crossroads. Today, America finds itself in such a moment. As waves of revival and awakening stir across the land, Psalms 33:12 rings with renewed significance. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. This ancient truth pulses through the fabric of our national story and is again becoming a rallying cry for millions who believe that America's future hinges not merely on politics and policies, but on her relationship with Almighty God. Seeds of revival in America. From the first great awakening of the 18th century to the Azusa Street revivals and the Jesus movement of the 20th, the United States has a profound history of spiritual outpouring. Each of these awakenings shared a common thread, a return to God, repentance, and a fresh zeal to live as a nation whose God is the Lord, unquote. Today, reports of revival gatherings on college campuses, mass prayer meetings, and a resurgence of hunger for biblical truth suggest that the embers of spiritual awakening are once again glowing. People sense that America cannot continue a path of moral confusion and cultural division without divine intervention. There's a growing conviction that, as Psalm 33:10 and 11 declares, the Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the peoples of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Unquote. Human plans may falter, but God's purposes prevail. The role of leadership and faith. In Scripture, national revival often paralleled righteous leadership. Kings like Josiah tore down idols and led their people back to covenant faithfulness, resulting in seasons of divine blessing. Psalms 33:12 not only speaks of God's favor upon nations that acknowledge him, but also implies that leaders play a crucial role in turning the hearts of the people toward the Lord. In modern America, the intersection of politics and faith is increasingly visible. One of the most striking examples in the current administration under President Donald J. Trump has been the open acknowledgement of God's place in governance. Secretary of Defense, the Honorable Pete Hegseth, has made headlines for leading prayer within the Pentagon, a move both symbolic and substantive. At a time when expressions of faith in public institutions are often contested, Hegseth's actions declare that God's guidance is welcome in the highest levels of national defense. This is significant for two reasons. First, it underscores that spiritual revival is not merely a grassroots phenomenon. It can and should penetrate the corridors of power. Second, it serves as a prophetic act aligning America's leadership with the principle of Psalms 33:12, that a nation's blessing is tied to its acknowledgement of the Lord. Standing with Israel, a covenant connection. Another critical dimension of America's spiritual alignment concerns her stance toward Israel. Genesis 12:3 records God's word to Abraham. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. This covenant promise has never been rescinded. Nations that bless Israel historically experience favor. Those that oppose her often find themselves mired in strife. Under the Trump administration, America's relationship with Israel reached historic milestones. The decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and move the U.S. Embassy there was not merely a political maneuver. It was a profound alignment with biblical prophecy and covenant truth. Psalms 33:12 reminds us that God watches over nations, weighing how they honor his chosen people. Secretary Pete Hegseth's vocal support for Israel reinforces this alignment. His prayers and public statements echo the conviction that America's security, prosperity, and moral clarity are intertwined with our willingness to stand alongside the Jewish state. In a world where anti-Israel sentiment is on the rise, such leadership embodies the promise, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." Spiritual battle and divine counsel. America's current revival is not emerging in a vacuum. There's fierce opposition in the spiritual realm. Cultural conflicts, ideological battles, and rising hostility towards biblical values are signs of a nation grappling with deep spiritual forces. Psalm 33:10-12 is instructive. The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the peoples of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Political parties, media, empires, and global institutions may strategize, but God remains sovereign. His counsel stands forever. No matter how powerful human forces appear, revival belongs to the Lord. The truth fuels hope for believers interceding for America's future. As faith increasingly finds expression in public leadership, whether through prayer at the Pentagon or policies supporting religious freedom in Israel, it serves as a spiritual signal. It tells the watching world that America still has a remnant committed to being a nation whose God is the Lord. A call to align with God's purposes. Psalm 33:12 is not a promise to America simply because of her past. It is a conditional blessing tied to the nation's present and future relationship with God. The verse calls the people to examine their hearts, repent, and realign with the Lord's purposes. Revival is not confined to church buildings or prayer rallies. It must permeate every sphere: government, education, media, the military, and families. Leaders like Secretary Hegseth remind us that the presence of God in the Pentagon can be just as significant as revival in a college chapel. Both are vital expressions of a people choosing the Lord as their God. As America stands on the cusp of what many believe could be a third great awakening, the words of Psalm 33 offer both warning and hope. God will frustrate the counsel of those who oppose his ways, yet for the nation that embraces him, there is blessing beyond measure. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. May this be America's declaration, not merely in word, but in deed. And may the Lord's plans, which endure forever, bring about the revival and awakening our nation so desperately needs. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I just sit back thinking about, they're talking about how church membership and church attendance has fallen off so greatly in the United States. And then you just look at, in turn, evil just seems to be rearing its head in such a great fashion right now. It says a lot. I mean, if we turn away from God, this nation's going to fall. It was founded on it. They've tried everything they could since the founding of the country, it seems like, to whitewash God off of everything.
God is awesome, and He's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah,
There,
he is.
there was this study called Experiencing God, and one of the main things was look around you and see what God is doing and get involved in that.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for indulging me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it.
I mean, when America, after the revolution and stuff like that, I mean, and God we trust is on our finance, our money, on and all that stuff. 10 Commandments used to be hung up in courtrooms and everywhere else, and I believe that's why God has blessed United States, so much, and
Yeah.
being
Well,
with Israel. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but United States is the one that I might be wrong. Now, this is what I heard. They're the ones that basically working with the United States is how Israel come up with the Iron Dome. And I might be totally wrong on that, but that's just what I
I'll
heard.
take you back further than that. Walks Fletcher, this can never be. There can never be a day when the United States does not fully support Israel. And I've said that on my show, on this live stream, many times. But if you'll look back in 1948, Hillbilly,
Mm-hmm.
Harry S. Truman signed a decree that recognized the nation of Israel, and they became a state. So
Mm-hmm.
one day it was Palestine. The next day, because Harry S. Truman decided to recognize Israel, and he didn't have a choice, there was a state of Israel. Then in the 7 Day War, 1967, we supported Israel again. Then the Gulf Wars in the 70s, we've always been there. Steve, thanks, buddy. But I was just reading an article, man. I could never write that kind of stuff. But yeah, Walks Fletcher says there's always been religious freedom in Israel. That's because the Lord wants us to love Him. He don't want to make us. I've said to myself many times, we're blessed and we're cursed with that free will. That's what gets you in trouble. And Lever Guns 50, this so encourages me. So he says, I believe we're already in the beginning of the third great awakening. Let me tell you where revival and the great awakening is going to start. And it's going to be in my heart and in your heart. Hillbilly got a good comment. See, USA is in the Bible.
Yep. I asked my pastor one time, I said, how come the Bible don't say anything about United States? And he goes, oh, they do all the time. And I'm like, what? And he pulled out a pencil, like a pen and a piece of paper out of his Bible, and he spelled out Jerusalem and capitalized USA. He goes, it's in there a lot. And I was like, I'll be darned.
My nephew and two of his friends were attacked last Saturday as they had lunch after leaving temple.
That's terrible.
All I can tell you is it's a good thing that bunch was in North Carolina, wasn't there?
It's crazy here in Birmingham. There's one mosque that I know of, and they have police that guard the mosque, but they don't have police around the Jewish synagogues. Of course, we're not seeing those uprisings on either side here.
Well, I
We
will
have see protests in the streets.
Y'all heard the fireworks.
I will have to say
they're booming here, man.
Yeah.
This bill, it makes ICE it gives them some finances to work with. So hopefully they can start getting those people out of this country.
See, CNN was advertising an app that people could go on and report where they had seen ICE.
Yep.
Yeah, and they went backstepping a lot after Trump called them out on that.
Yeah, he pretty much was threatening to pull their FCC license.
Yeah.
Now, didn't the one who created the app didn't he get in trouble for that app? I heard that he got in trouble for it, and then the app was being shut down. I don't know if that was skimming through the news.
Here it comes.
I don't even know if I never looked it up. I was wondering if it was still on Marketplace.
Check that out.
I just seen that.
An unlawful assembly has been declared at the federal building in Los Angeles.
See, this is the difference between Los Angeles and North Carolina. If you start screaming free, free Palestine, we recognize you have the right to do that. We also recognize we have the right to whoop your ass for saying it. All right? Just for disturbing my very presence of walking down the street.
Well, on my way up there on Sunday evening, I was on 321. Right, Rebel, you know that road, big
Yeah.
divided highway. Not interstate, but it's, yeah.
You
I got behind a Toyota, and it had a rainbow flag on it, and then the frame around the tag says Free Palestine.
Please tell me they were headed north.
They were headed north, but they had a North Carolina tag.
Yeah. That's so funny that all these people you see a lot of the rainbow flag people talking free Palestine and hate Jesus and other. What would happen to them if all of those LGBTQ whatever, if they went to Palestine? Maybe they all ought to go to Gaza. Maybe they all ought to go to Palestine and see what happens.
My son Jay was talking about that.
They hang them.
They
throw them off the roof of a building.
Well, that's what Jay said. They throw them off the roof. Anyway, we got to start going through the room because let's talk about bench rest coming up here in about 10 minutes. So let's go through here as quick as possible. Mr. Mark, what you got coming up this week?
Well, we're just going to have to see. Don't have anything planned, but well, we always got something coming up.
That's so cool. Notice the history teacher is out of school for summer.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Bama Dad, nice to have you with us this evening, buddy. What you got coming up this week?
Just a little something I'm working on to take to the range.
You gonna make a video about it?
I don't know. We'll see.
I think you oughta.
I gotta find somewhere to take it that I can run it through its paces.
That'd be fun. Yeah, thanks for being here, man. Nice to have you with us. And
Thanks
your
for
puppy
inviting me.
dog too.
Yeah, she's my little Chihuahua dog.
Well, she ain't like mine and Rebel's dogs. They yap and make all kind of noise. Anyway, thanks for being here, bud.
Appreciate it.
Rebel, what you got coming up?
Hang on. There we go. I got to get these dogs hushed or I don't never get to bed. And I don't know. CW is playing with that 25-45, made me want to break out my 6.45 AR and do. I've done at least 4 load workups on it, but I'm not done yet. You know, there's so many bullets. And it's so much fun to shoot. And it's CW.
Okay, I'm hot. I think because I've been cleaning.
But you muted, CW.
I haven't heard from you.
But anyway, that's probably what I'm waiting for this heat to let up too. So anyway, what you got, Tex?
Oh, well, we're going to go to North Zulch tomorrow, do some cowboy shooting. She's going to shoot the regular cowboy, and I'm going to shoot long range again with the 30-30. But I got it loaded in black powder this time, so I'm going to try something new. That's about all we've got going on.
Well, thanks for being here, man. Y'all have fun tomorrow. Stay cool.
We'll try. It's supposed to be cloudy, possible rain, so. But you, CW?
You're muted, buddy.
I got a lot of stuff going on, but like I said, I got let's see, I think it's the Tuesday the 8th. I think Tuesday's the 8th. Maybe it's Wednesday. Anyway, the 8th, I got one video coming up from our trip. I think that one is the 17 on the range. The following day, I've got just stuff about our get together. And then I've got 3 other videos that are in rotation that I didn't check before I opened my yapper here. So I don't know what they are, but stuff that's been videoed for, a month or 3 and is scheduled to come on. I've got videos set through August right now. So lots of stuff coming up. Always something going on. Always something new. You never know where CW is going to turn. So stay tuned. Thanks, everybody.
Very
Good to be here. Good to see everything. Sorry I didn't do anything with the side chat. My iPad's in Georgia, so I'm on the cell phone and I can't do 3 things at once on it. So
Yeah,
I
it won't be.
apologize. I haven't seen one thing on the side chat. So I know you're out there and I appreciate everybody.
It won't be here long. My boss can knock that out pretty quick. So we'll get that back in the mail to you. Mr. Hot Pot, what you got coming up?
Well, first thing I want to say is, Rebel, do you know why it's still hot down there?
No.
Because we brought the heat and you're still feeling the residual effects of it.
I was feeling that before you got here.
Oh, you felt us coming then. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Oh. I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July weekend. It's always great being on the chat. What I got coming up? I got some new products in. I need to actually do a little bit of testing and some review on before I bring them to you. And yeah, that's about all I got. I think I'm gonna spend the next 2 days cooling down on my motorcycle. You know what I mean? Other than that, man, I wish everybody a great night. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, good to be here with the family. And it's only once around the ride, everybody. So you always got to remember to keep blowing the smoke.
Thanks for being here, Gene. And Hillbilly, I apologize for not letting you go first, buddy.
That's okay. No problem.
I think we got time. What you got coming up?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I just want to wish everybody just a wonderful Independence Day. I know you're hearing those fireworks outside and all that stuff, but I mean, just picture it as a celebration of freedom that we can actually do this. And your biggest complaint, as an American, is having to listen to some fireworks, you're doing pretty good. And so, I mean, I just so excited. I love our Independence Day. I love our country. And, man, just soak it in and be thankful for what we got, for one. And I got so we got Chad coming up next. I have videos coming out, and here I'm listening to CW. I got videos all the way to August. I'm trying to get videos done for next week.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. But yeah, we got some more bold action.
You guys are slacking. You're slacking.
I know it. We got some more bold action AR. We're going to be shooting it suppressed, and I think we may have another bold action AR heading this way pretty soon. So I'm really digging these suppressors. So we'll probably do some more suppressor videos, and just all kinds of stuff. Got a new scope in. I'm just so thankful for like the whole community. I mean, what a blessed place to be with all these people. I don't know of a better community, as our 2A community. They're just absolutely awesome. And I'm very thankful and all that. And so anyway, thank you so much for having me on. God bless everybody.
Thank all of y'all for being here. We want to thank our brother Tread in the side chat for all the links to our channel. I asked him, did he want to be on? He said, I'm the link man. Ain't got time to be on there with y'all. I'm doing this. Thanks to Tread for the links. Y'all, golly, thanks for joining us. You guys on the panel, thank all y'all for all you do. What a great time this week. There's Thorzak's, and I thought I saw Kyle Lux there earlier. Anyway, we love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Hope the Lord blesses y'all real good, and if he's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.